I said, listen, I don't know who started that rumor that I got mad at you for drinking and smoking.
Every relationship has its ups and downs. I don't know any relationship that's perfect. I went a year recently without talking to my own mother.
Being on my kidney, and that's why you ended up in rehab. And she goes, that's a rumor? I said, oh, girl, let me tell you about the last 6 years of my life.
My own mother who birthed me. So, yeah, we had our stuff. What happened? I'm very private.
And I just, like, because honestly, I don't know what she knows. I know, she's been very open about not being on social media and not reading the tabloids and stuff.
That's between us, and I'd rather keep it between us. But, like, friendships, it doesn't matter. And I don't want to discourage anyone from donating.
Does really avoid the internet. So I told her everything, and unfortunately my dad also confirmed that story recently.
That's one of the things that really bothered me. I'm like, it's not about that. When you're giving a donation,
that I'm gonna have to say, like, I told Angelica Vale when I did her show, but my dad and I haven't spoken about that surgery since 2017.
Let's say to St. Jude, you're not going to call St. Jude and be like, what did you do with my $1? You know, you gave it up and you have to do your own thing.
So I was a little frustrated that he had said that. I think he was just trying to, I don't know, protect me.
And I had to grow and she had to grow, and some of the best relationships I know took some time apart and they came back together and they were better than ever.
In some way, I don't know, but it's not true.
Yeah.
And I started telling her everything.
She gave Selena Gomez her kidney, and now, 8 years later, she wasn't even invited to the wedding. That single fact has left fans across the internet stunned, questioning how one of Hollywood's most selfless friendships could end in silence. Francia Raisa, the actress who once risked her own life to save Selena's, has finally decided to break her silence. In a new interview, she addressed years of speculation, denied rumors of a feud, and shared how she really feels about Selena's marriage to Benny Blanco. But behind her calm tone and polite words, viewers couldn't help but sense something deeper. A quiet distance, a trace of hurt, and maybe even acceptance that some friendships, no matter how meaningful, can fade with time. This story isn't just about a celebrity wedding. It's about loyalty, sacrifice, and what happens when gratitude meets growing apart. Because in the world of fame, even a life-saving act doesn't always guarantee a lifelong bond. And as we unravel the timeline of this complicated friendship, you'll see how something that once looked unbreakable slowly turned into a story of silence, rumors, and emotional closure. Back in 2017, Selena Gomez's world took a frightening turn when her lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease, began attacking her organs and put her life at risk. Doctors made it clear she needed a kidney transplant to survive, and that's when her close friend, actress Francia Raisa, stepped forward with an offer that shocked everyone. She volunteered to donate her own kidney. It wasn't just a kind gesture, it was an act of pure selflessness that went far beyond what most friendships ever face. At the time, the public saw it as one of Hollywood's most heartwarming stories. Two young women, bonded by sisterhood and sacrifice, overcoming a life-or-death situation together. Photos of them in side-by-side hospital beds went viral. Fans praised Raisa as a hero, and Selena publicly thanked her, calling the donation the ultimate gift of life. It seemed like an unbreakable bond, one forged not by fame or fortune, but by something profoundly human. But as the years passed, that once inseparable friendship began to change. There were fewer public appearances together, fewer shared posts, and more whispers that something had gone wrong behind the scenes. For many fans, the idea that such a powerful friendship could fade felt unthinkable. Yet, in Hollywood, loyalty often has an expiration date, and even the strongest connections can quietly unravel under the weight of fame, health battles, and personal growth. It didn't take long before whispers of tension between Selena Gomez and Francia Raisa started spreading across social media. What began as quiet fan speculation soon grew into one of the most talked about friendship breakups in Hollywood. Fans noticed small but telling signs. The two no longer appeared together in public, there were no more birthday posts, and Selena's social media feed, once filled with photos of their bond, suddenly went silent on anything related to Francia. The absence didn't go unnoticed, and soon tabloids began spinning stories about what could have gone wrong. Some claimed the friendship strained after Selena's recovery, with speculation that Francia disapproved of Selena's lifestyle choices following the transplant. Others suggested emotional distance, hinting that fame, new relationships, and personal reinvention may have driven them apart. Yet neither of them directly addressed it, leaving the internet to fill in the blanks. And as silence stretched over the years, the rumor mill only grew louder. Every new Selena interview, every cryptic Francia comment was analyzed like a clue in a mystery. To outsiders, it looked like an unspoken Cold War between two women who had once shared something unforgettable. But then came Selena's wedding, an event that reignited every question fans had been asking for years. And this time, there was no ignoring the tension. When news broke that Selena Gomez had officially tied the knot with music producer Benny Blanco, the internet erupted in celebration and curiosity. The wedding, held in an intimate yet star-studded ceremony, brought together some of Hollywood's most recognizable names: Taylor Swift, Steve Martin, Martin Short, Zoe Saldana, Ed Sheeran, and even Paris and Nikki Hilton. Photos leaked online painted a picture of joy, glamour, and a fairy tale ending for Selena. But amid all the excitement, one glaring detail caught everyone's attention. Francia Raisa wasn't there. Fans immediately flooded comment sections and forums, asking the same question over and over again. How could Selena's kidney donor, her supposed best friend, not be invited to one of the most important days of her life? The absence felt personal, almost symbolic. A public sign that their bond was no longer what it used to be. Some speculated it was a mutual decision. Others believed it was proof of an unspoken fallout. Even though Francia had stayed silent for years, the timing of her name resurfacing right around the wedding made the situation impossible to ignore. For a friendship once described as unbreakable, this moment felt like confirmation that something had fractured long ago. And soon after, as the questions grew louder, Francia finally decided to speak for herself. After years of silence and speculation, Francia Raisa finally decided to break her silence, and the timing couldn't have been more striking. In a new interview with the Daily Mail, the 37-year-old actress addressed the swirling rumors about her relationship with Selena Gomez, and her words immediately captured public attention. Calm but firm, Raisa dismissed talk of a feud, calling the entire narrative just rumors. She explained that most of what's been circulating in the media had little to do with reality, insisting that she and Selena had simply gone their separate ways in life. In a surprisingly graceful moment, she even sent her best wishes to Selena and Benny Blanco, speaking partly in Spanish as she said, "I know she's getting married, and I'm so happy for her. She has her own life now, and she's already a billionaire. I'm grateful that I could do that for her." The message was mature, kind, and deeply reflective. But fans couldn't help noticing the emotional distance between her words. There was no bitterness, yet no closeness either. It sounded like someone who had accepted that a friendship once rooted in sacrifice had evolved into something quieter, more detached. Still, even as Raisa downplayed the drama, her poised tone hinted at a story untold, one that may hold more emotion than she's letting on. Because beneath her calm denial, there was something unspoken in the way she talked about Selena, a subtle blend of peace, pride, and maybe a little pain. When Francia Raisa was asked about her decision to donate her kidney, she offered an answer that revealed just how much her perspective had evolved since that emotional chapter of her life. She made it clear that her act of kindness came from the heart, but she also drew a firm line between a donation and a lifelong obligation. From the very beginning, the doctors told me it was a donation, she explained, adding a metaphor that instantly went viral. If you donate $1, you don't call later and ask, "Hey, what are you doing with my dollar?" With that simple analogy, Francia seemed to reframe the entire narrative that fans and the media had built over the years. Her tone was composed, yet it carried a quiet firmness, as if she wanted to remind everyone that her kidney wasn't a ticket to lifelong loyalty. It was a gift, freely given. She emphasized gratitude, not regret, saying she was proud to be alive and even prouder to say she saved someone's life. Those words struck a chord, not just because of their humility, but because of what they implied. She had moved on. This wasn't about resentment or entitlement, it was about peace. Francia's statement subtly shifted the focus from past drama to personal growth, showing that she understood the difference between saving a life and holding on to one. Still, while she framed her actions with grace, her next response would show that she wasn't afraid to push back when the conversation turned toward the rumors that had haunted her for years. When the interviewer brought up the long-circulating rumors that Francia Raisa had grown angry with Selena Gomez over her post-transplant lifestyle, the actress's demeanor instantly changed. Gone was the calm composure, replaced with a sharp, almost defensive tone that revealed just how tired she was of hearing the same accusations. "Well, right now you're asking me about the nonsense that's being spread in the media," she replied bluntly, her frustration cutting through the politeness. "There are too many rumors." Her answer made it clear that she'd had enough of being painted as the resentful friend, tired of tabloids twisting her silence into bitterness. She insisted she never said anything about Selena's choices, and that the claims she was upset about her friend drinking or living recklessly after the transplant were pure fiction. "When the rumor came out that I was mad or something because Gomez was smoking, I wasn't even aware of it," she said, shaking her head at the absurdity of it all. "Nobody knows what's going on, and neither she nor I are talking about it." That single statement revealed a lot, both about her exhaustion with the media and the unspoken distance that now existed between her and Selena. For years, fans had imagined explosive fights or bitter confrontations. But in reality, the silence between them spoke louder than any feud ever could. Francia's words weren't angry. They were defensive, yes, but also weary, the kind of tone that comes from being misunderstood for too long. And just when it seemed like she was ready to close that chapter for good, she added one final line that changed everything. Just when everyone thought Francia Raisa was done addressing the subject, she ended the interview with a line that stopped people in their tracks. "One day, maybe we'll work it out." Brief, but it said more than any public statement she'd ever made. After years of silence, speculation, and headlines portraying them as enemies, those few words cracked open a window of hope, or perhaps nostalgia, for what their friendship once was. It wasn't an angry dismissal or a dramatic denial. It was an acknowledgement that something between them had been lost, but maybe not forever. Her tone carried the weight of time, years of growing apart, healing, and watching from a distance as life took them in different directions. It also reflected emotional maturity, the kind of grace that comes from accepting the past without resentment. For fans, it was both heartbreaking and beautiful. Francia's simple, human honesty showed she wasn't chasing attention or sympathy. She was simply at peace with the fact that some bonds change, even after the most extraordinary acts of love. Yet that final sentence left a lingering question that still hangs in the air. If she's open to reconciliation, would Selena feel the same? Because for all the fame and success surrounding them both, this story was never about Hollywood. It was about two women whose friendship was tested by sacrifice, silence, and time itself. The moment Francia's interview went public, the internet exploded with reactions. Fans, bloggers, and entertainment outlets couldn't stop dissecting every word she said. Social media lit up with debates. Some praised Francia for her maturity and grace, calling her the real one for handling years of rumors with dignity, while others accused Selena Gomez of being ungrateful for seemingly cutting ties with the woman who saved her life. TikTok and X, formerly Twitter, became battlegrounds for fan theories, with old clips, interviews, and photos resurfacing as users tried to piece together the real story. Some pointed out that Selena had previously said her only real friend in the industry was Taylor Swift, a statement that hurt many who remembered Raisa's sacrifice. Others defended Selena, insisting that friendships evolve and that no one truly knows what goes on behind closed doors. Even old red carpet videos of them laughing together were reshared as fans mourned what looked like a beautiful bond that quietly faded. The more people talked, the clearer it became that this story struck an emotional chord far beyond celebrity gossip. It touched on themes of loyalty, gratitude, and what happens when two people who once shared something life-changing drift apart. Every new tweet, every fan edit, every emotional post only deepened the question everyone was now asking. Was this just the end of a friendship or a pause before forgiveness? Because while both women have moved forward in their lives, the world still seems to be holding on to that image of two hospital beds side by side, wondering if the connection that started there might one day find its way back. In the end, the story of Selena Gomez and Francia Raisa isn't just about a friendship gone quiet. It's about how even the deepest bonds can be tested by time, fame, and personal growth. What began as a breathtaking act of love, with one woman literally giving a part of herself to save another, evolved into a story filled with silence, rumors, and emotional distance. Yet through it all, neither of them ever publicly disrespected the other, and that says something about the foundation they once shared. Francia's recent words painted a picture not of resentment, but of acceptance, of someone who understands that saving a life doesn't mean you're tied to it forever. Selena, for her part, has moved forward, building her life, her love, and her happiness with Benny Blanco. But for fans, that image of two best friends lying side by side in hospital beds will always symbolize something pure, an unfiltered act of friendship that transcended fame and expectation. Whether or not they ever reconnect, the emotional impact of their story remains powerful. It's a reminder that gratitude doesn't always look like constant closeness, and that sometimes letting go is just another way of saying thank you. Because in the end, what Francia and Selena shared wasn't just a medical miracle, it was a human one. And no matter where their paths lead, the world will never forget the moment one friend gave another the gift of life.